Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to provide you with some value to help you scale your business, become a better leader, and push yourself out of your comfort zone into something which is going to stretch you. We really hope you enjoy these shows, and we really encourage you to like and share with your friends and network, which is only going to help us get a wider audience and improve our industry. I'm super excited to announce that in 2023, we're going to be announcing new partnerships, digital courses, some rebranding, and your opportunity to be coached by one of our many industry leaders, experts, or coaches. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I am so excited to be the first person to do a podcast with Mike Mason. Mike, welcome to the Commercial Landscaper Podcast.
Thank you, Robert. Glad to be here, my friend.
Yeah, it's always good to see you and talk to you. Mike, just maybe spend the first couple of minutes just telling my audience who you are, a little bit of your background, just so they get a good picture of your wealth of experience.
Well, I don't know if you want to hear about it. Don't you love it when you talk to someone and they say, tell me a little bit about your background? They say, well, when I was 12 years old. Well, I won't quite go
20
back
minutes later.
Yeah, I won't go back that far, but I started out as I started 3 businesses when I was in high school and college. I had a janitorial service that was very, very successful. And I actually sold that, and it's still in existence to today, if you can imagine, 35, 40 years later. And but it taught me so much about business and how to deal with people. I then went into the money management world in Dallas, Texas, where I was fortunate enough to basically manage money and be a business consultant to the most prosperous and most recognized people in the Texas market, like Lamar Hunt, the Hunt family, Ross Perot, Mark Myerson, T. Boone Pickens, people like that. I had an incredible opportunity to be taught and mentored by them.
Wow.
It was just a great experience. And then it was an incredible experience. I was one of the first people to be in the Blockbuster video business, helping raise money for them, and then helped with Alert and ADP to be on their early stages of raising money and seeing their strategic planning. Went from there to convinced Cox Cable out of Atlanta, Georgia, to go into the fiberoptics business, and took a cable television company public back in 1990 with Lamar Hunt, Hartland Cable Television. So I've had a really diverse background. After that, I did turnarounds and bought Weathermatic from there.
That's awesome. You've got some great experience, which you're now putting to Weathermatics, and so thank you for that.
I have stories I could tell, my friend. Trust me.
Oh no, I know. I was concerned when I said we've got half an hour, because we could probably easily spend at least a couple of hours talking about your stories and all the things you're up to. But you're an entrepreneur through and through, which I
all the way through. Yeah, I own several businesses today. You know, Weathermatic is the pride and joy of our Mason family office, at which our family office is the owner of the different companies. And so we have Weathermatic, then we have SmartLink, which is a division somewhat of Weathermatic. We also have Unlimited Labor Solutions, which is an immigration firm. We also own a company called Water Engineering. We also have a small law firm that we own, and obviously an investment office. So we do a little bit of everything.
Nice. You're juggling all of them.
Oh, it's too much fun. But I've got 3 sons, Robert. So every one of them runs a different company or a different division, and we all work together. And that would be a great podcast for another day. The family vision. I think you'd love it.
No, I'd love to do that. Would we get your sons on that as well, or just you?
I think you'd start with me and then see if they want to follow it, because they say they always say, "Dad, you suck the oxygen out of a room, so be careful."
That's funny. Well, talking about making money, we had a little bit of a conversation offline about, the importance of enhancements. I actually did a webinar yesterday with Lawn and Landscape talking about, moving to a 4-day week. And one of the biggest reasons for doing that was to free up some time to do a lot of our enhancement works. your enhancements backlog was 2-3 months behind, and that's obviously where you make all the money, doing things like mulch, tree planting, and irrigation came up. And I think you made a really important point that irrigation is such a huge profit margin, gross margin, that and obviously that's ties right into your business. So talk to me a little bit about the importance of irrigation enhancements.
Robert, it's kind of unique because I had been in the turnaround business and the business consulting, investment banking world. You really learn how to judge businesses quickly and learn what makes them successful and what doesn't, what really hurts them. And I learned very rapidly in this industry that the number one common denominator of successful landscape companies are the ones who are predominantly strong in irrigation. Too many companies today, if you want to talk numbers, they average about 5 to 6% of their maintenance revenue would be in irrigation repair. And it really should be about 25%. The guys that I know that are knocking the ball out of the park, like Bob Grover up at the Pacific, he's north of 20%. Scott Needham of ProQual in Phoenix, Arizona, he's probably 26, 27%. I mean, these are guys that are very, very irrigation forward, and they're just knocking the ball out of the park. And across the 33 years that I've been in the business, the guys that make money recognize that the highest margin, highest revenue opportunity is in the irrigation repair business, but it's also one that has great challenges to address.
No, that's true. And what's the main reason for that? Is it because they have somebody managing irrigation, or have a real strategy around growing that division?
I think if you look at most of the companies today, they're still doing business like it's 1980. They don't really integrate technology. They think it's just a pure labor game. I have labor, I pay it this, I pay the pay rate of this, and I charge it out at that, and that's it. The idea of creating scale to a lot of contractors in the industry is just a foreign concept. But to the ones that grasp it, they're the ones that are making money. And look at what's happening with the private equity that's come into this industry. The guys that get it are making crazy money, and they're getting paid incredible value for their companies. And most of the guys that are the first targets are the ones who really learn how to automate and elevate their irrigation departments as far as landscape maintenance is concerned.
And why do you think that is? You think there's just as soon as they hear or see technology, they don't understand it? Is it they want other people to, go through all the pains of learning stuff first?
Okay, Robert, I got to interrupt you. Because I've got a term for this. It's called either being technology native or technology immigrant. And guys my age are technology immigrants. We're forced into it, baby. We didn't come naturally. Now, I like to brag about being technology forward. When I was a kid, I was the guy that got Cox Cable into fiber optics. I was one of the first people to do microwave cable television, in rural markets. So baby, I just ask me, I'm technology forward. But if you ask my kids that work with me, all my sons, they go, oh my God, don't give dad anything. It's terrible. So I think the truth of the matter is that most people are just not technology forward that are in our age brackets. And you look at the guys that are in their mid 30s to their mid 40s, they're a lot more technology forward. And those are the guys in this industry that are knocking the ball out of the park. They're looking at things like robotic mowers, and they're integrating with the Spire, and they're doing things like that. But if you look at the guys that are really making money, those are the guys. Look on that top 150 list. At least 50% of those guys have integrated with Weathermatic SmartLink product. At least 50%. I think it's more like 75%. They are finding ways to take their existing capacity of labor and multiply it 2- and 3-fold. And the best area to start is in the irrigation repair and maintenance division. Highest margin, highest revenue opportunity, and it's recurring revenue that just keeps coming and coming and coming.
No, that's a great statistic. I wasn't even aware of that, but it starts. I know we had another, and we will have another conversation about the labor piece, but it makes me start to think about when you hear about all these big companies laying off all these technology experts, Google, I could list probably 10 of them, but is that opportunity for landscape companies who've maybe been, technology, what was the word you
Resistant.
used? Resistant.
Resistant, or I call them technology immigrants. They're out
Immigrants.
of the.
I like the immigrants part. To basically take advantage of those people are now available in the marketplace to come up with some type of CTO in their business or some type of expert to help to build in
It's
all that
possible.
technology.
It's possible, Robert, but let me tell you where to start. Let's go where's the easiest, because I'm one of those kind of guys where I like to take the low-hanging fruit and grab it first. If you look right now in our industry, did you know that there are more job openings in the landscaping industry than there are unemployed people in America? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Is that shocking?
Totally shocking. Why is that?
Well, it's because we are growing so much, and people after COVID, they really wanted to upscale their backyards or their commercial properties. And now people are going back to work at the office building. And they realize to get people to come to their offices, they got to have a better looking landscape. They got to have a better environment. People who are staying home want to have a better home. So landscaping is just exploding. And you've got to have, if you want to have a beautiful landscape, you've got to have a great irrigation. Now, I know there's some laws out there where they're trying to outlaw turf. Candidly, that has happened in the past. It did not go well. It makes life miserable if you don't have the cooling and beauty effect of grass and landscape. And so just take it where we are. You've got irrigation technicians are the hardest people to find, and there's no real formal training except for like with Weathermatic. We do a lot of training of irrigation techs. And we have the largest field network of irrigation techs that work for our company, I believe, than anyone in the business. I may be wrong. I'll let somebody fact check me on that, but ours is enormous. We have more technicians than we do salespeople. I hope that's a good thing. But anyway, we have a lot of technicians and we do a lot of technician training. But these guys, and that's why, and let me make a point, our SmartLink product, which is the growth engine of Weathermatic, make no bones about it, that is our growth engine. Like I said, 50% or more of the top 150 contractors are standardizing on SmartLink with SmartLine irrigation control systems. So they're taking down all these old irrigation controllers that have no remote access, that have no weather information, that collect no data, that have no intelligence to it. They're really just glorified timers that just turn the water on, turn the water off. Well, when you put up a SmartLink controller, you have the ability to go into a whole nother dimension of automation where you can automate watering programs, of course. It sends alerts, to any electrical issue or programming opportunities. But think about in the year of 2023, that still 94% to 97% of all the irrigation controllers that are installed require somebody to get in a truck, drive to a site, and change the watering program. That's nuts.
That is nuts.
And if you're a commercial landscape contractor and you're managing, listen to these statistics, Robert, this will blow your mind. Just take a small landscape contractor who's managing 100 properties. He's got about 300 irrigation controllers. And this person is managing, I think the number is around 500 million gallons of water a year.
Wow.
And wasting more than 50% of it. So whenever they go to another dimension of saying, okay, now if I have 100 sites and I can eliminate, say, 10 trips per year to that site, when you eliminate 1,000 unreimbursed trips to a site or to your sites, and the average cost is probably at least $100, man, you're starting to talk about real cost savings opportunities. Now, if you've got an irrigation platform that's sending you alerts telling you where there's money to be made, there's a broken wire, broken head, something like that, now it turns into a revenue generator. And if you get out on the site and now you can create an inspection and a proposal in 10% or 20% of the original time, because everything now is automated and remote controlled, and it turns the systems on and off as you walk, and it takes pictures and push a button at the end of it, and it generates the proposal. Now you're talking about a whole nother level of opportunity. And that's what the SmartLink contractors are doing. And that's why they can get their revenue up from 7% of maintenance to 20 or 25% of maintenance because they're using this kind of technology.
Yeah,
That's
love
game
that.
changer.
I love that. And that gets back to, as you said, the being a technology immigrant, where you're just not taking the time to educate yourself and learn and put yourself in uncomfortable zones. So let's
You know,
switch.
Robert, on that one topic, real quick, you made a comment about learning. I think one of the reasons why people avoid it is because they're afraid they can't do it. They think they'll start a project and they can't finish it. So let me just address it real quick. I think we tried it in the beginning where we would just sell the product and see if people could implement it and do it. We realized that was a dismal failure. What we changed was when we hired all these technicians nationwide to where really every major market has its own technician. We literally go into the contractor, we assess how many controllers they have, how many zones on the controllers. We learn all the programming methodology. We'll even go so far as to install the new platform, program it, set it up, turn it on, manage it, teach their people how to manage it. And then we not only do that, but we give them the equipment for free and just finance it to them with a monthly service fee, so that there's absolutely no reason to say no and every reason to get efficient and save water and labor and make money.
Yeah,
I hope that didn't sound like too much of a sales pitch. I
no,
apologize.
I mean you're just explaining the reducing all the barriers to entry, and I love that.
That's what it is, man. Because, think about it. If you had to change out 100 controllers, if you're a contractor, at about, $1,000 a piece, that's $100,000. Very few people are going to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you tell them it'll be $3,000 a month for 36 months, they'll go, yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. That's less than a third of the cost of a technician in a truck. I'll do that.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And it pays for itself just in fuel savings and labor savings.
I love that. So let's jump into labor now. Labor is still a huge challenge for the industry.
My favorite topic.
People are using old traditional methods of trying to get labor, not being successful, even though we've gone through COVID and the market's changing so much, especially in the labor market. What are some of the things that you're seeing out there? I mean, you talked about having a labor company as well, Mike.
That's right. I'm gonna share something with you that'll blow your mind. And this is, I guarantee you, your massive network that you have online right now that are watching the show, they'll agree with me. If you were to ask how many domestic workers does it take to fill a job opening, someone who's going to mow, blow, do the typical landscaping job, how many people do you have to recruit to get to come to the job to get one that sticks? Do you know what they tell you? A minimum of 8.
I was going to
They'll
say,
hire
10 or 15.
8 people. They'll hire 8 people to get one that works. So the cost to get one domestic worker is insane. So obviously, what is everyone trying to do? They're trying to go to international markets, Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala. They're trying to go south to get workers because everyone knows these workers are amazing. They're dedicated. They're hardworking. They show up. They don't complain. They just work hard as they can work and do a high quality job. And so our industry has been built by leveraging and partnering with this labor force, but they can only come here on seasonal work visas called H-2B. That's that seasonal work visa. So I started a business called Unlimited Labor simply because all of our customers were coming to me and saying, Mason, if you could ever solve the labor problem, you could help me grow by 300%. And I said, well, what do you mean? Tell me more. We just can't get workers. We can't. And when we try to get H-2B, it's just too prohibitive. It's difficult. We're in the lottery. I can't get anybody to understand our business. So I started researching it. And more importantly, I should say, I got my middle son, Elliot, to research it, who is an immigration attorney. And we met a young man, Mike King, out of St. Louis, Missouri, who is a specialist in converting H-2B workers into permanent workers. And he's in this industry, owns his own landscaping company, and he had processed several hundred himself and helped several hundred more with other clients, other friends of his in the market. And we created a process to do large scale groups of unskilled workers, converting them from the seasonal H-2B into a perm application. and it is game changing. I mean, game changing. And it's ironic, the same people who are doing the automation of their irrigation systems are the same people who are taking this H2B to perm approach first, because guess what? They're the innovative, smart, progressive contractors that are wanting to grow. And so now if they can convert, 150, 200 workers into permanent, now they stabilize their business and they have the ability to grow.
Yep. Again, it goes back to what you said a minute ago, taking away these barriers to entry or barriers to growth. And if you knock that down, whether it be technology, whether it be labor, then it's a game changer.
Well, it's like being an entrepreneur, man. You look at what the market problems are, the challenges, and you go solve them. That's what you do. And if you do it efficiently and affordably, and you've got a history of delivering results, then people will trust you. They'll move forward. And so I was told just the other day that unlimited labor by the end of 2023 will be the largest provider of EB3 green cards in the country. I mean, that is unbelievable to me. Just amazing to imagine that we've come that far that fast.
No, that's awesome. No, congratulations.
And we only serve the landscape community. That's it.
Talking about the landscape industry, I want to make sure we touch on a few things. What do you see going on in the marketplace right now? There's obviously a lot of acquisitions going on, a lot of private equity taking over a bunch of companies, a lot of them almost holding on to companies, keeping their name, and then just providing that higher level support, whether it be sales, training, and other type of resources. What are you seeing out there?
Well, number one, I think the larger companies like Sperber and Hartland and Monarch and a few of those guys, Yellowstone, I think they're going to embrace technology at a level that will be shocking to the rest of the community, because they have, I used to be a private equity guy. I've worked for them. I've been a consultant to them in the old days. When you buy a company, you have to double or triple the sales and double or triple the profits to justify what you paid for it. The only way they're going to be able to do that is by leveraging technology. You're going to see like companies like Aspire and LMN, Boss, things like that. They're going to really grow and they're going to be successful. But after they get through that operational pickup, it all boils down to how do you increase labor in the field, because that's what really makes the difference. The robotic mowers, the SmartLink product, it's going to become so prevalent that it will be virtually impossible to do business without it. And I think you're just going to see automation really kick up. I think also there's going to be an absolute boom among what I would call the independents. As we've seen in the past, other companies that do a lot of roll-ups, a lot of times there's culture conflict. A lot of the companies that they merge don't play nice together. And then a lot of people go out on their own and start their own businesses. Also, the people who stay independent will pick up a lot of the business that moves. So I think you're going to see that happening in the future. Both kind of the big get better and bigger, and the mediocre get smaller and tougher. But then the independents will continue to flourish. As long as they embrace technology, I'm telling you now, as long as they embrace technology.
Yeah, and that maybe even answers my next question: is how do you get those independents to try and compete with some of these bigger conglomerates now? Do they work together with other companies? You mentioned technology.
So let me just share this with you, which I've seen a couple of guys. I hate to keep bragging on the same people, but let me see. I'm going to try to be a little innovative. Okay, so like Dallas Lawns of here in Dallas, these guys, man, I'm telling you, they are nimble of foot. I mean, you go, you meet with them, they see the value of technology. And in like 60 days, they implemented their full portfolio, went fully technologically advanced, and now they started culling their bottom 10 to 20% of their accounts and replacing them with the accounts that will invest in enhancements and will approve irrigation technology, will approve irrigation repairs and irrigation enhancements. And so they are just culling their bottom 10% and moving up. That's what I've seen people do. Another company, Silver Sands, out of South Texas in Houston, could be some of the smartest, best people I've ever met in this industry. They were like the first SmartLink customer that we had. And they now have over 1,100 irrigation controllers that they've converted, but yet their retention rate is virtually 100%. And they say it's because we've eliminated all the conflicts with the customer. I had a meeting. I hope this is on topic. I had an incredible meeting with the president of Associa, I guess, Patrick Bensinger, I guess it was about 18 months ago. And he told me, he said, you know, what's our number one reason for turnover of our portfolio? I said, what's that? He goes, the irrigation repairs. He said, irrigation contractors that don't address the repairs properly. We get complaints, they don't get addressed. He goes, it's my number one headache. And I'm thinking, here's a guy running a multi-billion-dollar business, and his biggest issue are irrigation repairs. What does that tell you, Robert? That there's an opportunity for contractors to be incredible at irrigation and win millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of business. You got to find a partner that can help you train your people, give you technology, get it implemented, and move fast, be nimble of foot. And if you do that in this economic environment that we're in, you're going to grow and be so profitable. It's quite shocking.
No, especially when you start looking at water rates beginning to increase, there's water shortages all over the place, Arizona, Nevada. So yeah, I think you're spot on there, Mike.
Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I should say Fairview, Texas, where I live. Good Lord, I think my water rate's $17 a thousand.
Right.
Crazy.
And again, as you said, there's so much wastage out there. I don't think it's being addressed properly. So, Mike, what's down to the last question here? What's any type of parting words for some of these people who are right on that brink of making that jump into technology, or just, you know, they should be progressive? What would your biggest message be to them?
Man, you got to pick your partners. You know what? Let me back up just a second and say it like this. I know this is going to sound like a selfish promotion, but that doesn't mean it's not true. You know, at Weathermatic, we're not good at everything, but we're really good at certain things. Pick partners that are great at what you need from them. Make sure that your culture aligns with their culture, that you have a connection to the ownership, so that when you have a problem, and there will be problems, that you can get on the phone and talk to somebody, and you know that they're passionately committed to helping you resolve your issues. But when you look at a platform and you're saying, I've got to integrate technology, you know, talk to other people who've been on the platform, go to their conventions, go to their meetings, go to their webinars, learn, listen. But in the end, move fast, get going, get it done. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better. And if you integrate technology into your business right now, you just can't go wrong. You're going to do better than you did. If you can automate labor, you know, in today's day and age, don't be acting like a 1980s company in the year 2023. Look for ways to push yourself to be better, get better, to create capacity within your existing labor, and you just can't lose.
Awesome. Love that message. Love that message. Mike, how do people either connect with you, find out more about Weathermatic or any of your other entities that you're involved in? What's the best way for them to connect?
Well, if they want to have a good steak dinner, just give me a call directly and we'll go do that. So, or if you want to play golf, if you live near a great golf course and you need some advice, give me a call and I'll be glad to go play golf with you. But other than that, I would say just get in touch with Weathermatic at Weathermatic, you know, our website, weathermatic.com. If you're a landscape maintenance contractor, especially, man, you got to get in touch with us and let us show you how to do the technology and how to really elevate your business. I mean, again, just picture, raise your repair revenue from 7% to 25%. That's like doubling or tripling the profit of the whole company. I just want to encourage people to do it. You can do it. I promise you can do it. Others are doing it. You don't have to be 300 million. You can do it. So just reach out to Weathermatic directly, ask for Mike Mason, and I promise you they'll get you through to me pretty quick.
Awesome. Michael, Thank you very much for your time today. I know you're a busy guy, but really appreciate
My
the time.
pleasure.
Hopefully that was pure, dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your leadership role. This is Robert Clinkenbeard, and we'd love to get you and your friends to join us in our future journey. So please subscribe through the various podcast channels or visit thecommerciallandscaper.com or brucewilsoncompany.com and check out some more information there. Anyway, hopefully you all have a pure, dead, brilliant day. Cheers, everyone.